Good evening. On behalf of Viterbo University and the Viterbo Alumni Association, welcome to this special gathering of alumni and friends for Viterbo Days 2021. We would also like to welcome those attending via our live streaming here this evening. I'm Tom Thibodeau, and I'm particularly honored to be able to be at this celebration with our distinguished alumni who honor us with their presence and good work every day. It is through the good work of these servant leaders that the mission of Viterbo University to prepare our students for faithful service and ethical leadership continues to benefit the common good and to inspire people, as we hear tonight, across our country, making our world a better place each and every day. I would like to introduce to you Father Conrad Targansky, Viterbo University's chaplain, who will offer our opening prayer.
Congratulations. I'd like to begin this evening with a quote from Pope Francis, which seems to be a favorite for everybody and appropriate for this ceremony. In an interview after being elected Pope, he said, I love this, "The thing the church needs most today is the ability to heal wounds and to warm the hearts of the faithful. It needs nearness, proximity. I see the church as a field hospital after battle. It's useless to ask a serious wounded person if they have high cholesterol about the level of their blood sugar. You have to heal their wounds. Then we can talk about everything else. Heal the wounds, and you have to start from the ground up." So let's thank God for these people who have distinguished themselves, who heeded that call. We thank God for your nearness, your proximity, your ability to listen and heal, and you started from the ground up right here at Viterbo. Bless those faculty who made it happen. Bless the parents and the families who provided you with love and encouragement. And may you inspire the present Viterbo students with your stories so they can aspire to what's celebrated tonight. And finally, may the fireworks of Viterbo's core values, mission and legacy shine far and wide into the greater glory of God's holy name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Conrad. Rick Treitly is a faithful servant and has been leading Viterbo as our interim president during this transitional period. We are so blessed to have him as our president and, more importantly, our friend. Please join me in welcoming Viterbo's very own servant leader, interim president Rick Treitly.
Well, thank you, Tom, and good evening, everyone. Aaron, Arbender, Deb, Josh, Joel, Ryan, Lindsey, Avery, and Emily. On behalf of all of our distinguished faculty, our hundreds of staff, our thousands of students, and of course, our thousands of local, regional, national, and global alumni, we congratulate each and every one of you on this Distinguished Alumni Award. Tonight we're here to celebrate your incredible service to not only Viterbo and your communities, but in some cases to our nation. We're here to celebrate your talents, your personal successes, your professional successes, and just your overall incredible character. You know, in the Franciscan Catholic world, we often talk about a person's good journey. Today, I've gotten to meet many of our inductees for the first time personally, had the opportunity this summer to call and let them know they had been selected. But for those that I met for just the first time, I found it fascinating to hear about some of the aspects of their good journey. I've heard some interesting stories of undergraduate days, interesting stories of professional successes, family life. I've heard about challenges. Had a great session in here today with members of our Conservatory of the Performing Arts students, where 3 of our inductees talked about not only all of the joy and successes of working on Broadway and working in all of our various performing arts venues, but also the real struggles and challenges sometimes just to make ends meet. And I thought the students needed to hear that. I've heard about aha moments in their lives. And of course, resiliency. Resiliency to overcome those challenges that our good journey often brings. Now, the good news for our inductees is their good journey continues, as does all of ours. And as I thought about them today, I could only think about their first days on campus. I think our youngest inductee, maybe 6 years ago, she graduated, so 10 years ago, first day on campus. And I'm not going to give any names, but we have one who was here 40 years ago. All right? And so we have a wide variety of inductees. But I think about those first days, and I can only imagine that apprehension, the nervousness, the excitement, the thought of, I have the world at my fingertips. And of course, as we do here at Viterbo, once students get settled in and start going to class and meeting people and engaging, along the way, they found their footing. And as they found their footing, they were guided by our amazing values and the mission of this university, but also by the amazing sisters of the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration, who for 131 years have held this university on their shoulders. I think our inductees grew, developed, and in all cases thrived. They became V-Hawks. And as V-Hawks, they're V-Hawk strong. And when they graduated, they were ready to launch, and they did launch. So today, you've read in the program about all of their incredible accomplishments and all of their examples of a power of a Viterbo education. We've heard about their hard work and perseverance. And we've also know that they are role models for today's students. Because as I watch students today look at them, you could tell that some of our students were already starting to process the possibilities that someday they might be up here. And someday they would achieve the type of success that these inductees have achieved. And again, I'll remind you, you're not done. Our journey continues. And while we may not see you as often at Viterbo as we might like, you're always family to us. And as your current address, wherever that may be, across the hundreds and hundreds of miles of the United States in some cases, as that may change over time, remember your home will always be 900 Viterbo Drive. So yeah, we're very proud of you. We're very excited for you. We honor you, we love you, we bless you, and we wish you nothing but the very, very best. God bless, and go V-Hawks.
Thank you, Rick. The first Viterbo University Alumni Award was presented in 1967. Over the years since then, this honor has been bestowed upon alumni from a wide array of professions. Recipients aren't given Distinguished Alumni Awards, rather recipients have earned them through their outstanding contributions to their professions, their willingness to serve as advocates and champions for others, and their unfailing devotion to the Franciscan ideals we hold dear. They are servant leaders who consistently put others first, To these individuals, servant leadership is not a part-time commitment. It is a full-time commitment. It is the way they have chosen to live their lives. Today, we are privileged to add to this venerable roster, and it is my privilege to introduce you to this year's Distinguished Alumni Award winners. Our first award is for Emily Schmidt, a rising professional honored by the College of Nursing and Health. Since graduating from Viterbo in 2013 with a bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics and a psychology minor, Emily has worked for Mayo Clinic Health System. She is a lead dietitian for Mayo Clinics in Austin, Owatonna, and Albert Lea, Minnesota, where she lives. A mother of two, Emily earned a master's degree in nutrition from Central Michigan University in 2019 while balancing work, family life, and teaching at Viterbo as an adjunct instructor. Congratulations, Emily. She's not able to be with us tonight because balancing the work of being a professional and a mom is very difficult, and one of our little ones got sick last night. Emily, you're in our thoughts and our prayers tonight. We wish you are here, but in spirit, we honor you. We hope that you and your family are well. Thank you, Emily Schmidt. We honor Avery Betcher, a rising professional being recognized by the Conservatory for the Performing Arts. After earning her music degree at Viterbo in 2015, she went on to earn a master's degree from Indiana University. Avery is off to a noteworthy start in the opera world. She is a versatile and captivating performer whose soprano voice has been described as lustrous and opulent. I had to look those two words up. Avery has been a featured soloist at the Aspen Music Festival and has performed with opera companies in Michigan, New Hampshire, and Missouri. Her talents have been recognized in numerous national and international competitions. Tonight, we honor and congratulate Avery.
Taking the opportunity to reflect on my time and experiences at Viterbo has brought so many thoughts and memories to the front of my mind, and I feel impelled to first share a little about one of the most influential people I've ever met in my life. I have been inspired by Schonker ever since I first met her. A ferocious mom and teacher with so much life and spirit to give to those around her, it is impossible to think that anyone couldn't help but be inspired by her. It's hard to believe that it's been over a decade now since she first entered my life, and I count myself so lucky to be among those that she has so selflessly shared her nurturing energy with from the very first time we ever worked together. I struggle to think of another person in my life, outside family, that has been there for me in such a fierce and dedicated way as she. The support and love that I was blessed with in being one of her students has stayed with me long since leaving Viterbo's campus and has been there to help get me through some incredibly difficult times. Had it not been for coming to Viterbo, I never would have met one of the most incredible women that God placed in my life to help guide my way, and I am sure I would not be who I am today without her. I truly feel that our lives are divinely guided. No accidents, no coincidences. And I also believe that all those who enter our lives to act as our guides are not meant to be forever guides. Some simply enter the relay to lead you to your next handoff point. Others join in to race alongside you all the way to the finish line. It was a temporary guide that led me to Viterbo, but through them I found one of the most cherished forever guides that I would ever know. In accepting this idea of temporary guides, there comes a sense of peaceful gratitude when remembering those who graced a chapter or two of our lives before stepping out of our story again. for they are the ones who lead us to where we need to go in order to find our forever guides. No matter what it is, who you meet, where you go, what happens to you, or when, you are always being led. And now, even just after these 6 short years since graduating, I see how crucial it was that I was led to Viterbo. I also believe that the good things in our lives are always born from our struggles and misfortunes. Something good and beautiful always comes from what we first might consider to be a failure. I look back at the path my life has taken thus far, and it is astounding to see what kind of tremendous influence the seemingly simple decision of where to go to college has had on me. I am so grateful that God led me to Viterbo. Since he has done so, I have forged so many precious and priceless relationships that have had the most profound effect on my life. So, no, I can't boil down the essence of what Viterbo means to me in one exciting story or interesting anecdote. No, for me, it is not concentrated in one particularly memorable event. It is spread out over years of interactions with incredibly kind, caring, and inspiring teachers that slowly yet solidly instilled in me the ideas, principles, and values that have built my identity as I moved into the outside world to chase after this admittedly insane dream of becoming a professional opera singer. It is not just one single event that could represent my gratitude for Viterbo. The only thing that could ever truly describe it is simply who I am today as a person.
Avery, Father Conrad is fond of saying, providence or coincidence? It's all providence. Make providence continue to guide you as you continue to discover your gifts. Thank you. This year, each of Viterbo's 5 colleges are honoring alumni with Professional Achievement Awards. First up, we have a Professional Achievement Award from the College of Business, Leadership, and Ethics for Josh Clark. Since earning his Bachelor of Business Administration degree in marketing in 2008, Josh has distinguished himself as a national sales manager of a large manufacturing company. He and his wife Jennifer also have ownership stakes in more than 17 Culver's restaurants in 4 states. They just opened one on Monday in Florida. A company Josh started 10 years ago, Clark Business Solutions, offers services to fellow Culver's franchise owners, including human resources, accounting, and consulting. Josh, most importantly, is the baseball coach and now football coach for his sons who are 7 and 10, teaching them to be faithful servants and ethical leaders. Congratulations, Josh.
All right. Thank you, Tom. And you're the first person I'm going to talk about with this. So I just want to mention today, too, we got to hang out with a class of management kids today, and that was really awesome, too. Got to answer a lot of questions and interact with people, so had a lot of fun doing that. But for me, I think Tom Thibodeau had the largest influence and really captured the essence of what Viterbo provides to students that is different from, differentiates Viterbo from other colleges. I couldn't pinpoint any specific information from his classes. I wasn't an extremely smart student and not always the best listener, but I always go back to a statement he would say quite often: you don't always remember what someone says to you, but you always remember the way that that person makes you feel when you're around them. So, and I think, just listening to Tom, you can hear that. So, but I've had so many instances over the last 13 years since leaving Viterbo that has been true. I think we all know those people that just light up a room, or you just enjoy being around them. Empathy was the other tool I took away from Viterbo that has helped while leading our organization. Obviously in business and life, it's not always rainbows and unicorns, but I try to empathize with everyone, what is going on in their life, and accommodating to those needs. During the current labor crisis that we are in, I believe in our restaurants I'm speaking from, I really think this has separated our organization and the Culver's brand, from our competition. So I came from WWTC after I received my associate's degree and utilized the 2+2 program. So for a student who had to pay for majority of his schooling and then also that 2+2, being able to not add another year to my education, and then the scholarships for academics that really helped make my 4-year college degree a reality. My wife Jen and I have a scholarship here at Viterbo for students who are taking the same path that I did with the 2+2 program and also have a need for financial assistance. I'm really proud of that scholarship just because I was the person in those shoes not that long ago. So. In closing, I just want to thank Viterbo University and all the professors I've had over my 2 years here. I'm sure most of them were confused when they saw my name receiving this award based off of my academic abilities, but something must have stuck in your guys' classes. So I also want to thank my wife Jen, who is here with us today, and my mom also flew in from Ohio. My mom has made it to pretty much all of my major events in my life, so I appreciate that. And then our sons, Connor and Cooper, obviously they make a lot of sacrifices to allow me to thrive, not only in the business world, but also personally and overall, and they just make me a better person every day. So, thank you.
Smart is way overrated. It doesn't appear in any of our literature. But here's a word that applies: wisdom. The virtue of knowing what is good for your family, your 300 employees, our environment, and our communities. You are a wise man doing good work, and we are so grateful to be able to honor you. This year, the College of Engineering, Letters, and Sciences honors Deborah Murray with a Professional Achievement Award. A full-time Viterbo faculty member since 1995, Deb graduated in 1990, earning her bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in sociology. As a single mother who had battled through cancer and chemical dependency, she has gone on to blaze trails in counseling and counselor training, playing a lead role in establishing Viterbo as a premier institution for counselor education. She now serves as the director of Viterbo's graduate counselor education programs, which include Wisconsin's first educational doctorate in counselor education and supervision. Here is a woman who is a servant, a leader, and a guide par excellence. Congratulations, Deb.
I'm short. So I'm really afraid that I'll forget someone, and I know that I will. I couldn't just come up with one person because it was a whole group of people that helped me lift up from where I was. I arrived in La Crosse with 2 young children to start a life over, and I found that I needed a college degree, and UWL was full. And a person I barely knew said she had an appointment with Deb Randall Anderson, and she gave it to me. So I think Deb was a bit surprised when, instead of a veteran, I showed up. Deb quickly helped me find my way to the psychology department. And at this point, I was really terrified of school. And so the first 2 courses I took, one was philosophy with Sister Lorian Peterick, who told me on the second week I needed a box of colors. That got my attention. And then there was Sister Arita Dobkins, who transformed the way that I had looked at religion into a more of an understanding of spirituality. Sister Lorian Peterick also taught me the value of slender, or perhaps it was splendid adventures, and the importance of finding something every day that is only maybe 3 minutes long, that captures your attention like a sunrise, a sunset, dancing in a mud puddle. And I cannot think how many students I've shared that with, not to mention the clients that I served at during my years at St. Francis. In the psychology department, Ron Schleifer saw possibilities and started to provide me with extra books to read. I consumed them. And more importantly, Mort, Dr. Morehouse, opened some doors for internships that I would have never, ever thought to ask for, and that made all the difference in the world. Needless to say, when I got here, I was on a bit of a budget as I entered into the world of college student. And there were many times that one of the sisters would gift me with fresh fruit or vegetables. I remember my children's eyes getting really big because they were special. There was Leslie Stugelmeyer, who made sure that non-traditional students had access to camaraderie and some soup on Friday afternoons. And there was Beth Dolder-Zeke, who was receiving an honors as she prepared to graduate, and I was still pretty new. And she opened up the little case, and she said, "You're going to get one of these two." I wanted to graduate early because I was kind of wanting to be able to support my children better. So in order to do that, I needed to take a science class, and zoology it was. I did not have any prereqs. And the first exam, I was so nervous that I couldn't come up with words, but I drew some pictures. Dr. Krajewski used to then call me the art student, which I'm not very good at art, but I could draw the division of cells. So then at that point, I met Jane Eddy, who became a role model for me and always still is someone who I always feel like cheers me on as I try to do things. One day I was walking across the Assisi courtyard, and I saw the beautiful tiles up against the blue sky, and I just knew that I was supposed to be here at Viterbo University. The story of the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration inspired me to think that women who wanted to teach came here and started their lives over, and to do so they needed to build a hospital, but fortunately hospitals need teachers. And so I always just fell in love with that idea. I also very much thought about the prayer of St. Francis, and the one that always held on to me was, "Where there is despair, please let me spread hope." At that point, I vowed to make a difference for those individuals who were experiencing mental health or substance abuse issues. And so, as I started to pile on degrees so that I could stay at Viterbo, I did start some programs, and I was always surprised. I'm quite sure that there's no other place that would have opened and embraced the programs that I would offer, because, again, I wanted to provide services for substance abuse and individuals with mental health. As I was offered an adjunct position here. I would like to say it was because I was really so good, but it was really because it was 2 weeks before the start of the class. And the piece that I needed to achieve was that I had taken the class, so perhaps I could teach the class. I really liked teaching, and so from there I had Sister Margaret Wagner and Dr. Jack Havertape, who made sure that I could have a living while I served as I started as an instructor here at Viterbo University. Again, my two mentors, Mort and Dr. Schaefer, had to entice me that I needed a doctorate degree. I mean, I was surprised I got through with my undergraduate degree, but they did. They didn't scare me. They just slowly and surely encouraged me. And if there's any chance that I've been able to do that for some of the students that I've had the privilege of having in my classes over the years, then it's a good life. Thank you.
Hemingway said that courage is grace under pressure. And each and every day that you've been at this university, you have demonstrated courage, compassion, and competence, and we're all better for it. Tonight, Lorian is smiling because you've just given her a slender adventure. That was planned. And Sister Rita, that indomitable spirit, it lives on in you. Thank you for blessing us with your goodness. The College of Nursing and Health this year honors Joel Tyson with its Professional Achievement Award. Since earning his nursing degree in 1990, Joel has been driven to improve care experiences for seniors and their families by providing holistic, person-centered services through coordinated efforts from all care partners. He is the founder and CEO of LifeSpark, a Twin Cities-based company that provides short-term and long-term care services that address all areas of well-being for the aging to give them a quality of life that puts a spark in their eyes. Congratulations, Joel. Tonight, you share that same spark with all of us.
How fun and cool is this, right? I love the wisdom that's coming out of this guy too. It's great. I guess the first thing, I really want to thank Viterbo. When I was here today, I just felt that goodness, right? And I just want to thank Viterbo for the foundation of goodness and that foundation and that compassionate education that I really received here. I can feel it all come through my bones today, and it's been great. It is truly an honor to be up here today with all of you, and I'm grateful that I graduated from here and had the opportunity to get the focus, the discipline, and the quality experience that Viterbo provided to me. But first, right up front, I must let you all know that the best part of my Viterbo experience was the connection and ultimate marriage to my soulmate, Ann Tyson, who's also a BSN of Viterbo College. Ann has guided us together on our journey, and through many opportunities and challenges. Our faith and our overall values has been our guidepost. And I truly believe that Viterbo played a significant role in setting that foundation for us. A close second to my wife, though, is the genuine mentorship and leadership from both Bonnie Desbitt and Vivian Edwards. Two really important people that at 20 years old, when you're coming to college, you're worried about the posters on your wall and crazy stuff in your room. You don't recognize and really understand till later in your life the true gift that those two ladies provided me through my entire time here at Viterbo. They were really cool in pushing us and challenging us over the years because they weren't easy, but they did it with humor and, most importantly, love. And you really felt that from both those important people in my life. The culture provided me the confidence, I think the passion, drive, resilience, and truly the compassion that has shaped me and my daily life. The Franciscan values have been close, the ones that have been close to me over the years, I believe, really are that compassion. Having true compassion is such a wonderful and humbling gift. It makes us human. It brings us together. And having both my wife and I share that value and those values has brought out the best in us as parents, as professionals, and as community members. The other one would be service and stewardship. I know we talk a lot about stewardship and service, and Greenleaf was one of my main mentors through my years after college. And so these are really the cornerstone for me of why I do what I do. That envisioning and delivering real value for those that we serve and love is my purpose. I appreciate the Maslow's hierarchy of needs in my training as a nurse. As the more experienced I get, the more clear and good I feel about who I am and what I'm doing. So I'm grateful for this recognition, and I will use it to continue to live and serve. And fortunately, when I do occasionally veer off course, I'm humbled and course corrected by my fellow Viterbo alumni and partner. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate it.
Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. Dr. Martin Luther King, and he says, all you need is a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. And you and your lifelong partner have demonstrated that, and have taken that deep commitment of service and reached out to some of our most vulnerable citizens, our elders. We can only imagine how these last 20 months that you have been a lifeline, with a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love, regenerating the spark in the lives of so many people who felt lonely and isolated. Good work, hard work, sacred work. You do it so well. Thank you. This year, the School of Education honors Ryan Rieber for his professional achievements in public education. Ryan was the first in his family to graduate from college in 2001 when he earned a bachelor's degree in education with a mathematics minor. After starting a teaching career, he came back to Viterbo for a master's degree. He since has served as principal for 8 years in 2 different schools, and since 2020 has served as superintendent of the West Salem School District. He also serves on the board of directors of Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater La Crosse. Talk about challenging these last 2 years. What is it like to be leading a community in public education? But he does it with dignity and grace. Congratulations, Ryan.
I don't know what's more intimidating. I got to stand in front of our staff of over 350 people for the first time about a month and a half ago, or being here tonight. And Kathy asked us to do a 3 to 4 minute speech, and I've gotten pretty well versed in how long 3 minutes is, because that's the length of public comment during our school board meetings. So, I don't think Tom will give me the 30-second heads up like we do at our board meetings, but I'll promise to keep this short. First off, I'd like to thank Viterbo University for this tremendous honor. To be recognized as a distinguished alumni is humbling, and I know when Rick gave me the phone call, it was very hard to believe. I'd like to thank my family who's here tonight for all they've done to provide the foundation and support. Much like Joel, I met my wife and soulmate here at Viterbo, and if it wasn't for Viterbo and an art class that somehow I had to take when I'm a senior doing student teaching right down the hallway here, we probably wouldn't have the 3 boys that we have here this evening. So, they've always been such a big and important part of my life. My wife, my kids, my parents who are here, my sisters, and my brother-in-law. They've given me the inspiration and guidance to serve others. We're fortunate to have a family that is close, reliable, and they're always there for one another. This does not mean that we haven't had struggles or tragedies, but how we've experienced these has helped make us stronger. Through these tests in our lives, I have taken the lessons that I've learned from them and used those to serve our area's youth and educators in a multitude of ways. Education is a people profession. And if one has a difficult time enjoying being around other children or adults, success will be difficult to find. Over the past 18 months, we've discovered how much we need to have human connection. Thank you. That was taken away for a period of time. When we all came out of the semi-hibernation that we all endured, we've all changed. We need to get back to working with one another rather than working against one another. Nights and events like this help remind us of the Franciscan values that are a part of our education and the foundation here at Viterbo. Provide opportunities of hope and the challenges and struggles that there'll be better days to come. Brene Brown says, "Love and belonging is an irresistible need of all people. We are biologically and cognitively, physically, and spiritually wired to love, to be loved, and to belong. When those needs are not met, we don't function as we were meant to. In nearly every aspect of our lives, we are better when we are together. It takes a family, a team, colleagues, and partnerships to be successful. My family in Viterbo has guided me to realize the importance of teamwork and serving, and they have provided me the strength to continue to help and serve others. Far too often, we are reminded how fragile life can be. We don't know what tomorrow will bring, so make the most of today, love life, love people, serve others, and care more. Thank you for this honor, and congratulations to all the other recipients."
You can say quite a bit in 3 minutes. Particularly when it comes from a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love for children and community. The Jewish Talmud teaches the mere act of teaching means that one wishes the world well. And each and every day of your career, you wish the world well. You hope for the best for children who one day show up on a stage as distinguished alumni, but who one day enter into meaningful relationships. It's the work of eternity, and you do it so well. The Conservatory for the Performing Arts this year honors Lindsey Giese for professional achievement, an arts administration and music theater double major who graduated in 2007. Lindsey toured the world for 5 years as a cruise ship singer, as well as performing on regional stages and touring as a performer in Sweet Dreams and Honky Tonks. I own a tavern. We'd love to have you. Since 2013, she's also served as executive director of River Arts Incorporated, an arts, theater, and outreach organization based in Prairie du Sac, where Lindsey grew up. She also devotes many hours to civic improvement work in her hometown. Congratulations, Lindsey. We need the arts now more than ever before to lift our spirits and to remind us of the beauty of other human beings. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I begin, I do want to say it's been a pleasure getting to know everybody here today. Besides being connected through the award, we found out we all have dogs, except for Avery, but she's young. There's time for her yet. So, I fell in love with musical theater at an early age. Cats, Les Miserables, Secret Garden, all the Disney movies. I sang along to all of them over and over. I remember one time riding in the car and singing along to the musical Rent, and my dad said, "Are you sure you have to sing all the parts?" So when it came time to deciding majors, I knew music theater was in my blood. Once I got to Viterbo, I felt right at home. All of the students and faculty in my program were like a family. And that doesn't mean it was easy. I was pushed. Critiques weren't sugar-coated, but they came from a place of caring. They came from a place of genuinely wanting me to succeed. I have to thank some of those tough professors, like Rick Walters, David Gardner, Janet McLean, Susan Rush, for encouraging me to take risks and challenge myself to be the best that I can be. I have to thank Carla Hughes for helping me find my voice and not just teaching me, but always listening and being there for me. I have to thank Michael Ranch for helping me discover how rewarding a double major in arts administration could be, and for leading that program with such expertise and skill. Adding that major was one of the best decisions I've ever made, and is likely the reason I'm standing here, as it has led me to the enriching career I have today. Finally, I have to give the sincerest thanks to the one and only Nancy Allen. Nancy, I know you're here somewhere. Hi, Nancy. You will not find a more genuine, loving, caring human being. And I know my relationship with Nancy is not unique. She is loved by so many of her students, and it's because she not only welcomes you into her office, but to her home to talk about your struggles, your dreams, your hopes, your stress, literally everything. And her guidance does not end when you graduate from Viterbo. She is a lifelong friend and mentor. So thank you, Nancy. Okay, one last thanks. I joked about my dad in the beginning, but the truth is my parents were the first and strongest supporters of my dreams and goals. They are here today, and they have been here always, and have always supported my dreams and goals. And I know that my success is their success. And I'm very proud and lucky to be their daughter. I'm honored to receive this award today, and the truth is there's not a thing I would change about my time at Viterbo. But while it's a beautiful campus, it's not the buildings that make this place great, it's the people. I strive to follow their examples of great leadership, hospitality, and passion for their work as I continue to serve my community in a career I feel blessed to have. Thank you.
If your dad didn't want to listen to all those verses, I could have stood a couple myself. Isn't it amazing? As a young woman, you found your voice, and now are working in a community and helping other people to find their voice. And isn't it extraordinary? And you're working with your community. In music, you bring voices together where they blend. Builds community. I believe that this country needs more concerts and less debates. We need to find places in which we find our voice and share it with each other like you have demonstrated. Thank you so very much. Our Distinguished Alumni Award in the category of Service to the University this year honors Arbender Robinson, who graduated with a degree in theater arts. Arbender is a veteran Broadway performer who has been part of Tony Award-winning shows including Hairspray, Hair, Disney's The Lion King, and The Book of Mormon, which he is currently performing in. Arbender has shared his time freely and frequently at Viterbo, including as a current member of our Board of Trustees. He has been an avid recruiter for the university, serving as a visiting professor and conducting master classes. He has also helped students by taking part in speed mock interviews and offering expert guidance and expertise as to how to take their next steps. Most importantly, Arbender, I remember when we were both younger men in class, and I had the opportunity and privilege of introducing you to Sister Thea Bowman in a DVD interview that she had with Mike Wallace. And you resonated with her spirit, but more importantly, you give voice to her spirit each and every day in who you are and what you do. Congratulations.
great. You mentioned Sister Thea, and I start crying. There we go. So I'm going to break the rules a little bit. We all wrote speeches after we were told that we were getting this award, and today I rewrote my speech, so I hope it's okay. I broke it anyway, so there you go. And if it's not okay, I'm doing it anyway. So when I was notified of this acknowledgement, I didn't fully comprehend what was happening. And I simply just wrote down a few words to say thank you. I was in shock and excited about the recognition because I really wasn't aware that I was doing anything extraordinary. Service to the university in my mind, in my mind, I'm simply trying to give back and say thanks to the university for the amazing service it provided to me. Giving thanks by acts of service is what we're taught to do here at this Franciscan University. So this afternoon, I was blessed to sit in a room, actually at a nice little luncheon with all of the amazing people that are sitting on the stage. And once again, I found myself humbled and in awe of the work that's being done by the fellow graduates, and so grateful to somehow be celebrated alongside them. I remember stepping foot on campus here in the fall of 1994, completely unsure. I was unsure that this was the correct path. I was unsure that La Crosse would be the right city. I was unsure that I would ever fit in. I was unsure that I would survive 4 years of intense training. I did. I'm here. This is really me. I was simply unsure. And the university, along with several professors, made a vow. They made a vow that I would be successful here. They made a vow to my parents that I would be safe and that I would indeed graduate. The university upheld their end of this bargain. They held their end of this deal. And so I will constantly find ways to show my appreciation and my thanks. Being celebrated for this is still confusing to me, but I will always try to find ways to uphold the values and mission of this institution as a good steward of the vast gifts that it has provided to me. I continue to foster my need to give back to this university. I truly feel that my journey here has been divine intervention and a true gift from God. So if you know anything about me, I don't really like to speak. I would rather say words that someone else wrote. And my entire life is an ever-going soundtrack. I use songs to tell me how to deal with situations. I like to communicate through song. The lyrics or messages teach me to navigate any situation. So in closing, I will share these lyrics with you that sum up this moment. You have lavished on me all your kindness so unsparingly. I'm an incidental speck, a grain of dust, and yet you love me. You love me as if I were the only one to love. How can you hear me? How can you see me? How can you reach? How can you touch? How can you love me? You love me as if I were the only one to love. Thank you.
Disney is making a movie of Sister Thea Bowman. I think tonight what you've witnessed is Arbender Robinson's commitment to bring Sister Thea to Broadway. At her funeral, the preacher said, "Thea gave us a vision, now what we gonna do about it?" And this was her vision: each one, teach one. Walk your talk, let your light shine. You do that each and every day. Welcome home, and thank you for your faithful service and ethical leadership. We have one more person to honor this evening, and it is a distinct pleasure to present the Spirit of St. Francis Distinguished Alumni Award to Aaron Rasch, a 2015 graduate of Viterbo's Masters of Arts in Servant Leadership program. Aaron has fostered and focused his efforts on improving the life of the least of our brothers and sisters every day. Aaron doesn't talk about St. Francis. He lives like St. Francis. He welcomes each and every person he encounters as if that person were Christ himself. For the last 3 years, he's helped keep the Place of Grace open. Place of Grace, our Catholic worker house that serves meals and hospitality to people of the streets and our neighborhood. And it's Aaron's faithfulness that people recognize is our strength. He has chaired La Crosse Community Mental Health Coalition. He has helped to create Lighthouse that just purchased a house this week that will provide safe sanctuary and a haven for people who are trying to recover from the scourge of hard drugs. Every Thursday, he's in Huska Park, where 80 of our brothers and sisters live in tents, serving a meal and human dignity. He is part of La Crosse's coalition to help end homelessness. But I would have to introduce him with a little story from Mother Teresa, who was asked by somebody who walked with her in the streets of Calcutta and said, "Mother, there's so many people that are hungry. So many people don't have a place to live. So many people that have given up. How do you ever think you're going to be successful?" And she turned around and she took her little finger and she jammed it in the man's chest and she said, "Our task is not to be successful. It's to be faithful." Aaron Rasch, the Mother Teresa of Hood Street. Congratulations.
Oh man, thank you very, 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 very much. So the Spirit, it turns out the Spirit of St. Francis is alive and well through all of us. So I'm just happy to be a walking memorial for all those that are here today. The accidental saints, the people that stay open in their hearts, especially when it's not expected. Maybe I do it once in a while. But I think St. Francis also said that I have been all things unholy, so if God can work through me, he can work through anyone. So this is great. I think you covered all the people I like, Sister Thea Bowman. I know we mentioned all the sisters that started St. Rose College and the spirit of them. And I want to especially thank my friend Tom Thibodeau. So his spirit, and in affirming what our hearts are always attuned to be, our highest self, he can exquisitely point it out. And I just love that. As a friend, thank you. He's helped me grow, and we have to recognize Tom. He's beautiful. And so it turns out compassion is kind of this natural thing that we all like to do. I mean, it only took like 4.5 minutes before our hearts were opening up over here. I was like, ooh, just sat down to lunch. And I think this is something that we're yearning to do, is because giving through our hearts is how we bond, right? And you know, when we help each other in this spirit, we can all walk away nourished. So there's a way that this doesn't have to be work. It has to be a part of our lives because this is what deeply connects us. And part of this journey that I'm learning, you know, I cringe when people introduce me because I've had 5 jobs in 3 years, and I don't know what my role really is, but I just discovered some new things that, you know, I'm not here to look for the most interesting work. I'm here to make this work interesting, to engage right here, right now. And the presence that we bring is just what you need for the right person, right? So don't underestimate what you can give to somebody right now, but stay present in that living spirit. So this all led to my radical work right now, which is these kind of concepts that I hope we can all kind of feel and think of how it could apply to our own communities, our families. I look to find those meaningful connections outside of our roles, and I see that we all need a sense of hope for a secure and hopeful future. We need, beyond housing the homeless, they also need to have some hope, some faith, connection to value. Connection through the power of nature, connection through healing the trauma, like Father Conrad said, that lies underneath all this anxiety and addiction that we face. We do have a lot of healing to do. But I'd like to see this work happen in relationships and let those lead our connections, not necessarily services. I think that's important work too. And finally, to eliminate the distance between us and them. It's hard not to like someone when you learn their deeper story. I kind of learned that from Tom. I'm paraphrasing. He probably learned it from someone else. But too often our judgment and our egos, they separate us from each other, and they don't have to. I see the connection with us all. And I think this is a great award I'm very grateful for, not just for me and my recognition, but because Viterbo recognizes that this is something that they hold in high value. So I don't want to take up any more of your time. I'd love to talk to you in person. I want to sincerely thank all the friends, my family, my larger family, all the friends that I've met in this campus and beyond. So thank you for your time. My closing. Be still, open your heart, and get out of your own way. Thank you.
Aaron, I think that's something that St. Francis himself would have said. Be still, be present, get out of your own way, and serve. And you've certainly done that. Robert Greenleaf said that every servant leader needs to be a spirit carrier, and we thank you for lifting up and carrying the spirits of so many people each and every day. Well, tonight we have been blessed by the presence of good people doing good work, responding to a call to serve and to love. You honor us with your presence here tonight. The work you do serves as an example of what it means to be an alumnus of Viterbo. We are so glad that you could be with us and give us the honor of celebrating you. Viterbo would not be Viterbo without your accomplishments, your grit, your commitment, and certainly each of you tonight expressed joy, which is the infallible sign of God. We have been blessed by the Franciscan Sister of Perpetual Adoration, who continue to pray for us each and every day. Are there any FSPAs in the group tonight? Please stand. Please stand. I'd like to point out to you that as long as the FSPAs are praying for all of us, we got a shot. You bless us with your presence and your generosity, but most importantly, your example. Thank you, sisters. Finally, the Jewish rabbi Abraham Heschel was asked in 1968, just before he died, do you have any words for the next generation? Which would be you. And he said, yes, tell them this. There is meaning beyond absurdity. Every deed counts. Every word has power. And above all, tell them to build their lives as if it were a work of art. And you have. And you've blessed all of us and all those you serve with your goodness, your truth, your beauty, and grace. Let's one more time thank them for their witness.
Well, I'm sure you all realize that an event of this magnitude doesn't happen all by itself. So many people have worked very hard to make this event possible, starting with our project officer, Kathy Derwacher, from our alumni office and our entire advancement team, Michael Ranch and the communications staff, our Fine Arts Center team, of course, our technology folks, our housekeepers, who you could eat off of this stage up here right now if you're up here with me. Just so many people who care, so many people who work hard every single day to make these events possible. So please join me in a round of applause for all of them. We've seen a lot of goodness tonight. We've heard about a lot of goodness tonight. We have living examples of what our world needs. My dream is that all Viterbo graduates will continue to strive to achieve this level of service and success and care for each other. And I know we can do that. And as we continue this school year, I can guarantee all of you that our students are getting this education, that they're putting it into practice, that they're learning, and someday we'll have a new batch up here that we'll be just as proud of. And in my role as interim president, I do have the prerogative of finally authorizing the food and drinks, and we are going to do that now. And before we head out to the lobby for a phenomenal celebration and to get to know each other better, I'd ask for one final round of applause for our inductees. Thank you. Thank you, Phil.
All right, as is our custom, get your right hand in the air. This is the week where we celebrated St. Francis. Get your right hand in the air. Just a little bit of attitude, Repeat after me, Pace bene, Pace bene, which means peace and all good. Let's continue the celebration in the lobby. Thank you very much.